Hi everybody, it's Alan from Can We Fix It UK here again. What I've got for you today is quite a nice little festive repair, or hopeful repair anyway. Very simple really. We've got a set of LED lights which the end of it doesn't work. So this bit twinkles and this bit is bare, does not light up at all, and it's very simple. It's basically a wire off just at where the univice is at the moment. So we're going to see if we can get it fixed and get this festive set of lights back ready to decorate somebody's house, and we'll see how we get on. So, a festive repair for all, and Can We Fix It UK? Please remember to like the video if you do, and subscribe to our channel if you'd like to. We'd certainly like to have you along, and hopefully we can bring some interesting repairs to you that you'll enjoy doing. Please do leave comments in the comment section below about things you'd like to see. We basically repair all sorts of electronics, so yeah, leave your comments below and we'll see what we can do. Thanks again.
I wish I had shown this in high magnification. You'd see how horrible wires look when they've had some corrosion on. You can see this really tatty end of the cable here, but you can see, I think, in the big picture that the lights do light up when I click on it. Yeah, just trying to get a decent touch. I should have trimmed the end off here to make a better connection. But they're all working when it's reconnected. Simple fault. I've just torn back the sheathing over the LED to this point, and now I need to cut it all away to expose the rest of the LED. This is just on top of the Omnivice at the moment, just using that as a resting place. I really should bring in my precision knives to do this sort of job. This is a very tatty snap-off blade which needs to be thrown away really. Now, I looked at this and I thought, I'll pull it off with the pliers. And I looked again and said, no, they're too big. So I went and got my expensive tweezers. I was having a mental splurge here because what I was trying to do was lever up the edge and snap it open. And that's likely to bend the tweezers and make them useless. So I don't know why I did that. I'm groaning as I watch. No, stop doing it, Alan. There we go. We're going to cut it a bit more now. There we go, right the way through, and then I think I can probably just tear it off here. There you go. Don't need that. So inside what we've got is the two LED pins running down this white standoff which keeps the two pins apart. You can see how horrible and yellow and corroded it's gone at the bottom. Oh, it's on the floor now. So each of these LED legs should have two wires connected, and one's only got one, obviously. Okay, so I think I'm just measuring up here to think about how much heat shrink to put down the leg to make sure I cover all of the exposed wire. But of course, to get heat shrink on, I'm going to have to take that remaining wire off. Just cutting the heat shrink tubing down to a sensible size. Okay, just a bit of extra focus on the microscope there so you can see it a bit better. And if this iron finally heats up, we can try and get this wire off. Hey. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm looking at the cable and thinking, that's a nice clean shiny copper, and this isn't. I'm thinking, do I keep it or do I cut it? Yeah, let's cut it. Very difficult to keep everything in view of the microscope without constantly looking at the TV screen that's behind the microscope. Okay, now just strip off a bit of insulation, and then we have relatively nice clean wire. There we go, we'll twist them together now just to provide a bit of mechanical strength. Also makes it easier to solder them together. On with the piece of heat shrink. We need to put it on now because we won't get it over the LED later. Tin the end of the wires. Okay, it's not soldered yet, that's just resting against the leg of the LED. This soldering iron tip's got a good side and a bad side. It's a conical profile, but you'll see, I think I turn it round eventually, figure out what's going wrong, and turn it round to the good side. It works! It was always going to be an easy job. The problem's not soldering, the problem's getting it all back together again so it doesn't fall apart when somebody tries to put it on their house. That's the little X-profile standoff. I'm going to see if I can try and get it into the heat shrink sleeving after I've got these two legs fully insulated. So basically what we've got is thin heat shrink going over each leg individually, and then there's over the top of the LED and the two legs will go another piece of heat shrinking. Sorry, this is all off camera. It's very difficult to do this without and keep everything into the small field of view that the microscope camera gives. Okay, so there's our two pieces of heat shrink. Just put them into the Omni vise to hold it steady. You can see, I think the actual green, unfortunately I didn't have any green heatsink material, but I think that the wrapping around the LED is actually heat shrink itself, though it's quite a plastically sort. This is quite a laugh here. I've obviously used the solder pencil nozzle for desoldering as well, because it just spat out a piece of solder there. Had to be picked off. The pump noise you can hear is the air supply for the air pencil. So this is delivering out 450 degree air, but in quite a small stream, so I can be fairly directed with it. Get it shrunk up now. These were quite a decent fit on the LED legs without shrinking, so there's not a huge amount of shrinking going on. There'll be even less on the outer sheath, I imagine. Okay, what I've done here is just flip the wires over so I can do the other side of the heat shrink tubing. It's quite a nice view of it shrinking away there. Obviously got to be careful not to melt either the wire insulation or the LED itself. What I'm trying to do here just off camera is fit the large outer piece of heat shrink over the top of the LED. And it's just catching on a torn off section of the original shrink wrap, so what I'm just going to do is cut it off, and then I'm using it quite close to my fingers, and I then think better of it, and I'm going to slip, I'm thinking, and I'm going to take the wire away, the knife away, and I'll just do it with the snips because I've eased it up now. Okay, so can I get the heat shrink over? Yes, I can. Okay, so that's great. So it goes over. Now what I'm going to try and do is install the little X profile and put it all back the way it was. There you can see, just shoving it up between the legs of the LED now. It sort of goes quite well, really. The problem is the heat shrink. Now, I could have gone up the next size of heat shrink, but I'd had my doubts about whether that would shrink sufficiently to hold all of the components tightly. So I made the executive decision to throw away the standoff, because we don't really need it. There's no chance of the two LED legs touching because I've insulated both of them with heat shrink. And I've just adjusted the end of the heat shrink to overlap the original covering of the LED, and now I'm just going to shrink it over the top. It doesn't shrink hugely here because it was quite a tight fit anyway, and you can just see it there, just folding round and just shrinking back. Unfortunately, my Canon battery had died at this point, so I don't actually have any scene view until I change the battery a bit later. So I'm just flipping it over here. They're done. I think that's quite a neat little job, and it works.
Well, there you go. That's a repair of I believe 480 light LED string. all of this lot towards the end of the string had stopped working due to a problem on the segment that we've just repaired, which is here. Let me see if I can get that in focus for you a bit more. There we go. And I think you can just see the wrong one. And it's that one. Focus for you. And you can see heat shrink wrapping that we put down. We unfortunately weren't able to get the little standoff that keeps the pins apart, but because we've double insulated with the heat insulated heat shrink, there should be no problems with those touching together. And of course the outside heat shrink provides strain relief to help prevent the wires pulling apart. As you can see from the original construction, they're not that great configured, but then they're LED lights, so they're low voltage, no danger. But the proof in the pudding is, does it work? Let's give that a try. Okay, so before, all of this lot was working okay, but this lot was not. And now, it's all working. So, can we fix it, UK? Yes, we can.